Hi everyone, welcome back to the next diecast. In today's video, I'll be unboxing and reviewing this 1/24th scale 2023 Dodge Charger SXT made by Motormax. I got this model for just under $19 from blackdogdiecast.com, which used to be known as policecarmodels.com until around a year or two ago. And unfortunately, blackdogdiecast.com recently went out of business. They had a going out of business sale, and in that sale I bought this Motormax Charger along with a Motormax 1997 Ford Crown Victoria, which I'll be unboxing and reviewing in a future video. So that was unfortunate to see, but again, blackdogdiecast.com did have a sale before they formally closed operations. So I was able to get both of the models that I mentioned together for a discount. I think I got maybe like $10 off in total. So I think it was just applied to the entire purchase and not to the individual models that I got. But the regular price, or the pre-discount price for this model, was $19, which I think is a good price for a new 1/24th scale Motormax model. Speaking of new, this is a newer release from Motormax. The SXT that you see here, in addition to coming in this really awesome shade of green, does also come in a silver, I believe, as well. And I have seen some photos of a red version, a blue version, and a black version as well. And Motormax is also manufacturing the law enforcement version of the 2023 Dodge Charger, which you can find in a variety of different colors, with the light bar and the push bar, or just a slick top. So there are several different versions of this 2023 Charger available from Motormax as of 2024. And the overall quality and details between the regular version of the Charger that Motormax is making and the various police versions are going to be very similar. So this review will count for both of those versions of this particular model that Motormax is making. But in general, the SXT will, of course, have the stock wheels that you see on here, and it won't have the various like radios and equipment, and also the light bar and the push bar that you would, of course, see on the police version of the Charger that Motormax also makes. But as you can see, it's in the typical newer style of Motormax box. This is from the Timeless Legends series. It has kind of the gray and bright orange look to the box. You have the name of the car in the bottom corner right there, 1/24th scale, 3+, and the Motormax logo on the bottom left-hand corner. Timeless Legends Diecast Collection. And you have some more information back here along with that Licensed by Dodge sticker, which is kind of cool to see. And then some more information down here on the different licensing that Motormax does. So, cool. But yeah, this looks really awesome in this particular shade of green. I forget what the actual shade of green is called on the real car, but 2023 is the last model year of this generation of the Dodge Charger. The next Dodge Charger will actually be available as both a 2-door and a 4-door model that will replace both the outgoing Charger and the outgoing Challenger models. So that'll be cool to see if any models come out of that car. But for right now, this is the model of the outgoing Dodge Charger. So we'll go ahead and get it out of the box to start. All right, got the tape cut. Let's see if I can pull this out. All right, here's the Charger mounted on that cardboard base, as you see here. I'm guessing this will be held down. Actually, interesting. It looks like this is held down instead of screws by these plastic tab things, which I guess you just turn. I guess we'll find out. Trying to hold the car and this at the same time. I got one of these plastic things off. I don't know what the deal is with these. I think I had trouble with this in the past with another Motormax model. I think the Ford Explorer that I also have, all right, maybe we're not gonna have trouble. Let's see. Okay, these just pull out. See, you'd think instead of having all these plastic little things, they would just use actual screws. I don't know, whatever. But in the meantime, here's the 2023 Dodge Charger off the base. Already looks really cool. And there is one strap holding shut the doors, because this model does have the opening doors. So, smooth rolling wheels too. See if I can get this off. I think it's just like held down by tape or something. So it should be easy to just pull off. Hopefully without scissors. There we go. Still on there. That's actually a metallic shade of green too. Wow, that's actually really nice looking. Especially for a Motormax model. Wow. Very cool. Well, here's the Motormax Charger out of the box. I know a lot of people were excited about this release, and it certainly does look to be quite cool, especially in that awesome shade of kind of light metallic green, I guess we'll say. Got the black wheels, black interior, nice accent spoiler too. And of course you do have the opening doors on this model as well. Really nice. Here's the back. Very cool. Now on to the review. All right, let's take a closer look at this 2023 Dodge Charger model by Motormax. So this model is of course based off the 7th generation Dodge Charger that was produced in real life between 2011 and 2023. And it was facelifted in 2015 to the look that you see here with this 2023 model. And Motormax, once again, based this particular model off the 2023 Dodge Charger SXT. And this actually has the blacktop package on it too, where you of course have the gloss black wheels, the black mirrors, the rear spoiler, and the black front grille as well. So the SXT without the blacktop package would have no spoiler. I think a choice of different silver and or chrome wheels, and this band that you see in the front here. And Motormax actually did make a model of the 2011 Dodge Charger. And that one they also did make in both the regular RT version as well as the police version as well. And in my next video, I will compare the details of the 2011 version, the 2023 version, and then compare both of those to the Welly 127 scale Dodge Charger to see how they all hold up in terms of quality and detail. And the 7th generation Charger is, of course, quite the iconic vehicle. You see them pretty much all over the place still. And I'm glad that Motormax decided to make a model of the last model year, 7th gen, because they did of course make a model of the first model year, 2011 7th gen Charger. So I thought that was cool that Motormax decided to make this 2023 Charger as part of their 1/24 scale line. And I'd say in terms of the overall quality and details, this is a pretty decent model, although I think some aspects can be improved on, much like other Motormax models in 1/24 scale. So we'll start up here in terms of looking at the overall details and quality at the front of the model. Motormax did, I think, do a great job of capturing the overall look and shape of the 2023 Dodge Charger. I really do prefer the 2015 through 23 versions of the 7th gen Charger, like with the facelifted look. They look really cool, I think, and Motormax, I think, did capture the overall look and shape of the car quite well. And it does have quite the shelf presence too, especially in this particular paint scheme that Motormax chose. I thought it was kind of interesting that they chose to model the almost base model Charger SXT instead of like, you know, the RT or one of like the Scat Packs. Or this car came with many trims, so it's kind of hard for me to like think of a bunch off the top of my head. But basically, I'm surprised that Motormax chose to model a lower trim for the car. I'm not complaining. I think that's cool that they decided to pick the SXT to model, because that is kind of like the most regular version, I guess, of the Charger. But anyway, Motormax, I think, captured the look of the Charger quite well. In the front here, I think the headlights are quite well done. Nice separately cast plastic pieces, and I think they are nice and flush with the body. There is kind of a peg on each of the headlights, but that is sort of where like a bulb, I think, would be on the real car, so that's not really a big deal. And the grille is also well done. You see they mold in the Dodge inscription and logo in the front there, and they actually do have a textured mesh look with the lower grille and with the upper crosshair grille, which Dodge is iconic for. Of course, the mesh is not perforated, but I think for a budget 1/24 scale model, the front end and the grille looks quite good, I think, in terms of the overall detail and quality that we're seeing here. The paint quality on the model, I think, is very good, especially for a Motormax model. This green was once again available on the real 2023 Charger, and it does have a nice metallic finish to it as well. I didn't even know that this was a metallic finish until I got the model out of the box, and the light kind of shined on it, and it had a very nice sparkle to it. The paint finish is nice and smooth throughout the car. Motormax's models were really not that great in terms of paint quality for quite a long time, but I really think they have been improving with the paint on their models in recent years, which is very nice to see. The paint finish, I would say, is almost on par with like a Maisto or even a Welly model in terms of how it is applied to the car. So I really do like to see that for sure. Then on the sides here, I think Motormax did a decent job with these wheels. These are based off the real wheels that you would get with the blacktop package on the real 2023 Charger. They could use a slight bit more fine detailing, I think. I believe the real car would have a small Dodge logo or some sort of logo or inscription in the center of each of the wheels, but you don't see that here, unfortunately. That being said, Motormax does mold in the brake discs and calipers, which also aren't the best in terms of detail, but I think they're decent in terms of a 1/24 scale model for sure. The car rolls mostly smooth. It is kind of rough with the rear portion here, and single axles are what the wheels are mounted on. And there isn't really that much detail on the undercarriage either, but this is a 1/24 scale model, so you can't really expect to see too much in terms of the undercarriage detail. And the front end of my model, at least, is kind of loose, which I was kind of disappointed to see, but it's really not that noticeable unless you actually are, touching it and moving it around, because the gap that you see here is not all that big. I might be able to take apart the car and see if I can get the front to kind of stay in place better. But I'm going to just leave it be for right now. That's probably just a factory defect for my model. These side mirrors are decently done. They are kind of like an odd rubbery texture of plastic, but at least they're nice and sturdy. The spoiler back here looks good. It's molded on as a separately cast piece of plastic, and I think it does look good with the green paint too, especially with that glossy black finish. Very cool. And then back here you do have the taillight assembly, which is done as one single plastic piece, but it is nice and flush with the body, which I do like to see. And then you do have the Dodge inscription going across the center back here, and then you have the SXT badge on the lower right portion, and the Charger inscription on the lower left portion. All of which look well done, I think, for a 1/24 scale model. In terms of the opening features on the model, you just have the opening doors. The 2011 version of the Motormax Charger does have the opening hood, but the hood really doesn't fit well with the model. When you open it and close it, it kind of, bows out a bit up here. And I have seen that on several different versions of that model. And the engine detail really was not all that great on the model either. So I don't think it's a big deal that Motormax decided to seal the hood of their 2023 Charger model. Maybe it was to cut costs, not really sure, but you do at least have the opening doors on the model. The doors open up on dog-leg hinges, which do seem to be decently strong. I still wouldn't trust them enough to hold up well over the years, so I would try to open up the doors as little as possible, just so that way the hinges last a little bit longer. But the interior detail, I think, is okay for the most part. There are molded in buttons and everything, even on the steering wheel, as you see here. And you have a separately cast piece of plastic for the shifter. And then you do have some molded in vents as well. But aside from that, there really is not a whole lot to see in terms of detail on the dashboard. And I actually noticed that this is pretty much identical in terms of detail and look to the 2011 Dodge Charger model by Motormax. That actually is not correct because although the interiors of the 2011 and 2023 Chargers are very similar, there were some differences in terms of how the buttons were laid out and the steering wheel shapes. And I'll kind of show you that when I put this side by side with the 2011 Charger. The seats on the model, I think, are decently done. They have a nice texture to them, and they do seem to be the right shapes compared to what you would see on the real Charger. So Motormax did a decent job in that sense, I think. And then on the door panels, you don't really see a whole lot of detail. There really isn't any coloring in the interior aside from just all black plastic. Some 1/24 scale models, you'll see a bit of fine detailing like a badge on the steering wheel or some buttons that are perhaps painted on, but you don't really see that for this Motormax Charger. And the same goes for a lot of other Motormax 1/24 scale models as well, unfortunately. But at least they are improving on the paint quality of their models and some other aspects as well. But I think some more detail on the interior of the model definitely would have been welcome. So we'll go ahead and close up the doors. I think in the end, this is a decent model of the 2023 Dodge Charger in terms of a larger scale model. Motormax, I think, has been improving with the overall quality of their models, mainly pertaining to the paintwork on their models. Although some things, such as the lack of detail on the interiors and some of the build quality problems, continue to be seen in newer Motormax releases. Although that being said, I think Motormax's releases from the past few years have definitely been way better in terms of details and quality compared to their releases from like the 2000s, for sure. And in my next video, I will compare the details and quality of this 2023 Charger to Motormax's 2011 Charger and Welly's 2016 Charger. And then we will see, I guess, which one is the best in terms of the overall details and quality. But for right now, I just wanted to do a video where I unboxed and reviewed this specific model. And in the end, I'm definitely glad that I got this for my collection of 1/24 scale models. If you can find this model for a good price, which I would say is definitely under like $25, I definitely wouldn't pay that much more than $25 for this particular model. But if you can find it for a good price, and again, I got mine for just over $17, I think this is definitely a good model to add to your collection of 1/24 scale models, especially if you happen to be a fan of the Charger or of modern sedans or just Dodge in general. Feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the video or on the model here, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.